Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, yes, the title is not clickbait. We'll be going through it. Squad Busters is getting killed pretty soon, so we're going to be going over things, giving you guys my thoughts on things, because I was an avid Squad Busters player. If you guys know, I had a Squad Busters channel upon its global release and got 15,000 subscribers within like a week. I was really going to push on it, and you can see even by this like by overlay, I was really excited about this game's release, but it was very quickly apparent to me that it just didn't really have the substance to keep it going as a really popular game. So just wanted to quickly prove just that I played the game a lot. I dropped it in November, but need to like my stats overall. I haven't played since the Squad Busters 2.0 update, so I'm not completely in tune with absolutely everything with Squad Busters, but I just want to give you guys my thoughts and just what's actually happening right now. So if you go over to Supercell's Twitter or Squad Busters Twitter, you will see that they tweeted it out themselves. I was surprised, but not surprised, if that makes sense, because I kind of saw this coming for some months. The game was in decline for a very long time, but again, Supercell just don't go lightly when it comes to killing games. They kill a lot of like betas and stuff, but for a live game, you know, look at Boom Beach and a few other games, you know, not Heyday, mainly Boom Beach, like they've not killed it, even though the revenue isn't really right there, or like the amount of people that download the game daily, basically. So let's go into it. You can click on this article and it gives a lot of information. So I've not really read through it yet, just myself, but there is a lot really to talk about. They learned that a lot had gone wrong. The game didn't meet the high expectations that both you and our players, is what they're saying, and we at Supercell have for our games. And by early 2025, they faced a true crossroad, except that Squad Busters might never grow into the global phenomenon they dreamed of, or take a big creative swing. So they chose to try and swing it to Squad Busters 2.0, which was a bold change, but it looked like it didn't really redefine Squad Busters in the right way, because myself, I didn't even get incentivized to re-download the game. I've seen a lot of creators were paid by Supercell to try and like boost the player base overall, give Squad Busters another chance. Kind of reminds me of maybe when Brawl Stars switched over from portrait to landscape, if I remember correctly. I always get them mixed up, but yeah, it literally switched its game. It was literally like Clash Royale. It was this way up, and then they switched it to that way. So that was like a massive controversial change in Brawl Stars' history. So it's been done before and it works. So Squad Busters probably thought, or Supercell thought, well, they can maybe do this again. But I think it's quite clear that the overall just gameplay loop for me, it just wasn't really there. I don't know, like I was going to give it a go, but it just didn't really look completely the best. So they also say this is not the outcome they hoped for. They believe it's the right decision. They've been playing it, but it didn't meet the long-term quality bar they hold for themselves. So again, it was pretty apparent, and I'll go through some of my reasons as to why I think it didn't thrive. So there are a few more games in the development. Moko is a global game, and it's still kind of under development because there's not really been any updates for a while. They're probably going to really revamp their system as well. That's probably another topic for another video, but I did enjoy Moko, but they're not really, it's kind of like they're just playing it down. And I think the reason why Moko are playing it down is because of Squad Busters, because they went all in too early. So it's quite clear that they're switching up the strategy this time around with Moko. Anyway, we're talking about Squad Busters. So you can see here what happens next. In-app purchases are no longer available after Brawl right now. If you made any more purchases in 2025, you can transfer the value. So unfortunately for me, I probably spent like 1,000, probably even more, and so did Lana, my wife, on Squad Busters in 2024. We dropped it in like November, December time last year because it just got too repetitive and boring, but we played it every single day, and like for an hour every single day, probably even more. So that is unfortunate. I don't think we can claim that back, but at least for a lot of people probably did spend money during the Squad Busters 2.0, so you guys can transfer it over to another game, which is still pretty nice from the Supercell team. They do this with betas, but I didn't realize I'd do this with a live game as well. So there's also some rewards, it looks like, some exclusive theme. Yeah, okay. These rewards will be available starting November. This brings news questions on November. We shared written Q&A in game. Okay, so I'd actually want to read that because I really want to see the actual reasons as to why they killed Squad Busters. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, hopefully some of the future games can live on and meet the expectations. So, you know what? It actually made me sad. Like, as a Supercell fan, a Supercell game enjoyer since I can remember, since Clash of Clans came out, it does make me sad because you just know, like, these are really real people that put all their time, energy, and resources into making such a good game. Trust me, Supercell is like no other games company. I'm not being paid to say that. Like, I've seen their passion firsthand when I went over. I've been over multiple times now, and these are like amazing people. So you can hate the game, but don't hate the people behind it. I always say that with every game that I play, and I hope you guys share that same opinion. So I just wanted to see this. This is 6 months ago on Reddit, Squad Busters. Just look at the revenue dive down. So this was made 6 months ago, so it's just obviously gone down and down. It's reached like 200k in revenue, which again, I was just like, okay, they've clearly got to do something and kill the game. I don't know. So of course, on global launch, 22 million, but they spent a lot on marketing, 11 million, 8 million. So it really dived down pretty quickly, and quickly after December, like down to 1 million, down to 1.4. It just kept going down even with a Squad Busters 2.0. So quickly, I wanted to show you guys the Google Trends on this. Of course, it's a little bit unfair. You can't even see. I mean, that was when it was released globally, and then, you know, it did have some peaks. Again, my Squad Busters channel did pop off for a little while, but then it was clear that the gameplay loop was just pretty bad. But if you remove Brawl Stars, because it's probably like too high in terms of hype, and then Clash Royale as well, let's compare it to even Boom Beach. I mean, it's literally on the level of Boom Beach for an entire year. Pretty much after November, yeah, like the hype, it kind of came up a little bit here, and then Squad Busters 2.0 here in May. I mean, like, it's just straight downhill. It is pretty sad to see. So I'm going to remind you guys as well what Squad Busters actually added to the game. They added Sonic into the game. I thought Sonic was going to be in Brawl Stars, and a lot of people really like this update, but again, another thing that I was really confused on with Squad Busters in terms of their like strategy is that they were like, you know, Transformers, or like the game just came out and they were doing a Transformers collaboration, which is cool. Collaborations are cool, but we've seen it in Brawl Stars, right? A lot of people, you know, collaborations are good for the short-term player base, but they, like the long-term players, they want some substance, they want some good updates, they want some mechanical change, some gameplay changes, etc. They want long-term things. Collaborations will just get people back, but it won't keep people playing for long if the overall gameplay isn't exciting. So that's why I was a bit like, why are they doing so many collaborations when the game is clearly not that fun to play? I don't know, but Sonic was a really cool collaboration, and they still killed the game even though Sonic was a collab. So yeah, it's quite scary, You can see here that even they knew that they were making jokes around Squad Busters dying. Is Squad save? Literally themselves, they kind of, it gave me the impression that this was like do or die for them. They even said it in the blog post up here that they took this bold risk. It was basically do or die. That update was do or die, and it didn't relive the game. So also, this ad, by the way, was one of the best ads I've seen in Supercell history. It was, you could tell the marketing was just, their budget was probably insane. It probably was like 50 million or something. I'm not even exaggerating. A really good ad. I was a bit skeptic because for me, they just released it too early. They released the game too early. So I've got like a few points here to kind of round off the video in terms of my overall thoughts. So I'll go back to the blog here. Let's talk about why I think Squad Busters died and why they couldn't fix their problem. So I'll put some Brawl Stars gameplay in the background just briefly while I talk about this, because nobody really wants to watch Squad Busters gameplay. It's a Brawl Stars channel, but you know, the overall gameplay loop is boring, or was boring. Again, I experienced this after playing for like 6 months straight, probably since global launch, and even in beta days. Like, I really enjoyed the game for what it was, but it just never really like itched something on the back of my brain in terms of competitiveness. A lot of players were complaining about it, but I was just trying to give it a chance because, you know, the UI looked really cool, the idea around Squad Busters looked really cool. You could see that Supercell was really pushing for this to be a great game. So when I saw like the marketing was going heavy on Squad Busters, I knew I had to try and jump on this train, because Supercell, we don't normally just throw out a game when it's not ready. Normally it's a masterpiece. You know, Supercell games have been some of the best games in mobile, well, definitely in mobile space, maybe even in of all time. Brawl Stars, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Heyday. These are some staple names. And, you know, Squad Busters were bringing all the lore of all the Supercell games together. I thought it could have potential. But again, there was like no skill in fights, which is a big one. you think of, I mean, mobile games aren't really that skillful, guys. Just put it out there. You know, there are elements of skill definitely in Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Brawl Stars. There is some. You'd be dumb to say there isn't. But Squad Busters, I was like, I played this game for 6 months, and every game I was like, where is the skill? Where, you know, I'm not even improving. I'm not noticing any skill. The fights just feel random. Most of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. And you know, I'm not saying just because I was a pro in Brawl Stars, I'm not saying I'm like the best gamer in the world. I don't know everything about games, but I've been a gamer my whole life. I've no-lifed so many different games. So for me, I thought normally I'm accomplished at a game when I'm grinding it that much. And for Squad Busters, I was like, I don't feel like, even though I've put so much time into the game, I don't feel like I'm outsmarting opponents. I don't feel all these hours doesn't make me a better player. Does that make sense? It was so frustrating. That's why, of course, I quit literally a year ago. Again, people just ran away pretty much all of the time in Squad Busters. There was no incentive to really run into people. You didn't want any of your squad members to die, or else it would take a long time to replenish your squad. You know, if you killed, you know, if you had like a big fight in a 1 versus 1 and you beat the squad, but then your whole squad is depleted, there was hardly any ways to ramp back up and get back into the fight. So it actually, again, was another negative to fight. There was just so many negatives to fighting. And a lot of the time, it was just like a farming simulator, which, you know, sometimes it could be pretty cool. It was seen as like a chill game. It felt like a bit more of a heyday. It felt like I was just running around the map, farming resources with Mavis and Greg, rather than actually like fighting people most of the time. So again, no skill expression. And yeah, a lot of people were just not sure what was really going on in the game. There's probably a lot of other issues as well, where the real hardcore Squad Busters players probably would let me know down in the comment sections below why they think the game died. But I think as a, like, I wouldn't even say myself as a casual, but I think the casuals just knew the overall gameplay loop just wasn't it. So for me, for Squad Busters, I think they were just doomed from the start. I think to really bring a conclusion to this, they were doomed from the start. I feel that the game just wasn't ready. I think a lot of people and creators were surprised after speaking to them when it was released that they were actually going for a global release this soon, because there were so many problems. And it weren't even like there were just a few issues. It was quite clear that the game just wasn't ready. It just wasn't. There was so many gameplay loop issues to begin with. But maybe they thought, okay, there's probably some internal pressure, right? Because there hadn't been a game released since Brawl Stars. What was that, like 7 years ago, probably? Even 6 years ago. But yeah, probably internal pressure, trying to get a actual live game. And then maybe they thought, okay, so we won't know how to fix the problems unless we throw this game out to the live public, and then we can fix the problems as they go along. But you know, in bugs and stuff and small changes to like the economy and whatever, yeah, they can be fixed. But the overall gameplay loop, that takes a lot of time, a lot of development. Of course it does. We've seen that's why Squad Busters took a long time to even make Squad Busters 2.0. That's why Moko are taking like 3 months to the next update. It's quite clear the game just wasn't ready. I just don't think they should have rushed it in the end. I don't know whether Squad Busters was just doomed from the start, whether it just overall just wasn't a good game. Can we just say it's not a good game? I mean, I don't want to seem harsh in just saying that, but overall it just wasn't. So yeah, a lot of frustration. I'm hoping that future Supercell games do reach the high level of quality that they've reached in the past. I have definitely, yeah, I have high hopes. I definitely do, because I did drop Moko a lot sooner than Squad Busters, but I think it's quite clear they were taking a different strategy with it. And, you know, there's this new boat game that I've seen some creators play. There's like a few others in the works. So I'm hoping they can finally release a good global game. But for now, you know, I'm happy with Brawl Stars. Clash Royale is seeing record levels for like since its launch 10+ years ago. Brawl Stars is on the climb up again. I'm happy with these games for now. So yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. A sad day for many people, but I think it's a day that we've seen coming for a long time. I'm going to continue with the Brawl Stars content though, guys. Don't you worry about it. That's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.